5 o'clock. Fletcher get you going with the pregame starting at 4. Schaefer on the call at 5. Aztecs are currently 1.5 point road favorites in this one, with the point total set at 148.5. And star quarterback for Oregon, Dante Moore, the projected number 2 overall pick, likely to the New York Jets, has returned to college. He will be returning to Oregon despite star quarterback from Nebraska, quarterback Dylan Raiola, transferring there last week. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story at eBay.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Wednesday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Aztecs Hoops, 5 o'clock tonight. Going to be a very, very fun 2 hours that are coming up for you. We got a pair of tickets to San Diego State, New Mexico coming up this Saturday. We got a pair of tickets to MGK and Wiz Khalifa, otherwise known as Machine Gun Kelly and Wiz Khalifa, coming up later on the show. So lock in, everybody. Sammy, are you ready to have an excellent show?
I am ready.
Are you ready to have an excellent show?
We got big time ticket giveaways. We got Aztecs tonight. We got drama in the NBA and the NFL. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, if I'm the Lakers, I'm getting LeBron and Rich Paul as far away from my organization as possible. We'll get to that in a little bit. We are going to start with this Aztecs basketball team, who we kind of talked a little bit about yesterday. The fact that you can kind of see pieces starting to come together. Magoon Guath starting to play a lot better basketball. Miles Bird playing a little more consistently. But let's talk about this upcoming stretch of games they have, because, man, this feels like one of those 3-game stretches where going into it, you feel like you just got to get 2 out of 3, and you don't really care where they come from. So let's start with tonight. Tonight in Wyoming is a brutal place to play. Wyoming has had a pretty average year, better than most Wyoming years. They're up near the top half of the Mountain West Conference. But what I don't think people always understand is Wyoming's a very, very good team in Wyoming. When they play in Laramie, you have a really hard time beating them. So far this season, they have a 32-point win over UNLV, who's certainly not a slouch in the Mountain West. They are 9-1 at home so far this season. And for San Diego State, this is one of those games where it'd be pretty easy to say, oh, well, we got Wyoming coming up, so let's just maybe take a look forward to Saturday when you got New Mexico, who's a team where over the last 5 years you've been battling back and forth with. That, this Wyoming game up at 7,200 feet elevation in Laramie, Wyoming, we'll get past this one and then really bear down for this upcoming Saturday against New Mexico. They really can't afford to do that, man. You just heard Sammy tell you the point spread's moved to 1.5 in favor of San Diego State. Wyoming is brutal in Wyoming. If this game's at Viejas Arena, sure, maybe look past them. Not at Wyoming, man. This is going to be a really tough game for San Diego State. And unfortunately for the Aztecs, because of how their non-conference schedule went, this is kind of a must-win game for San Diego State if you want to get an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. So for San Diego State, the pressure's on, and going to Laramie is never an easy thing to do. Hopefully everyone's been drinking their beet juice. But playing at Wyoming today, the pressure's on the Aztecs, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a really fun game. To your point about drinking the beet juice, you see this in the NBA. Anytime someone plays in Denver or in the NFL playing Denver, it's tough. Wyoming is the same kind of thing with the elevation, and Wyoming's used to playing at it. That's their lungs are used to it. So it takes certainly some road competition a minute to get used to it. You pointed out Magoon Guath. That's a big storyline tonight because he really did seem to kind of get his sea legs last weekend under him. And to be fair to Magoon Guath, because he has been criticized a lot earlier this season, it is tough coming off an injury and then your first game being the Troy game, then having a week off, and then playing in a Players Era tournament against Michigan and Baylor, 2 of the best front courts in the country. And I think also like Farrell Compton and Miles Heide have actually really upped their game the last couple weeks, and it was kind of in disarray during the Players Era tournament. But the last few weeks, the entire front court has been playing much better. This is kind of where you lean on your stars. You lean on Reese Dixon Waters and Miles Bird and Magoon Guath, looking for those 3 to have a big showing. And this is where, like, especially in elevation, the fact that the Aztecs play 11 dudes can actually really benefit them. And that's been criticized because naysayers have been like, you don't know who's closing games. It's hard for guys to get into a rhythm because they're getting pulled every 5 seconds because it's kind of everyone has their allotted time. Being able to play 11 guys is really valuable when you're in elevation on the road, a tough environment. Whereas if you play 7 or 8, someone has a bad off night, gets into foul trouble, especially with the, they're going to be sucking wind tonight. That can be a problem. So the fact that the Aztecs plays 11 dudes should be good tonight. And it's a fun mindset difference when you go from a pick'em game, like Aztecs are 1.5 point favorites. It's nice to see them where it's just like, go win the game instead of, oh, you have to win the game, but also win by 20. There's like a mindset thing that changes when you're on the road and just have to win the basketball game. Looking for a big Aztec performance tonight. I think they can do it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, metrics don't care about elevation. That's always the funny thing about going to play at Wyoming or at the Air Force Academy. When you're going to these places that are just way high up there, it's like when Selection Sunday comes, they see an L at Wyoming, not an L at 7,200 feet. So obviously you can't have any excuses in this situation, and probably because of that Troy loss, this is one of those games where you do have to go in and win. And because the spread is so tight, how nice would it be if it is a 15, 20 point win for San Diego State? And hopefully that's the case because, man, the schedule coming up. So I mentioned New Mexico on Saturday, which we're going to have some tickets for coming up in a little bit. New Mexico has been one of those teams like Boise State where Viejas Arena just doesn't really seem to phase them. In fact, for years, House was on their team. Jalen House, was that his name? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he was on that team. And Sammy, I want to say you were at the game where he flipped off the crowd. I could be wrong about that.
I was at the game. I was sitting right there when he did it.
But it's like New Mexico feeds off the energy of Viejas Arena, and it positively impacts them. So that's going to be tough on Saturday night. And then you look at what's coming up at the end of the month. First of all, you go to Grand Canyon next week. Grand Canyon is new to the Mountain West, but San Diego State played at Grand Canyon last year and lost at Grand Canyon last year. It's a tough place to play. It's really the only show in town, and they get great crowds. And then at the end of the month, have we all put it together? Have we all realized that Utah State is kind of doing the San Diego State thing out of the Mountain West right now? They're undefeated in Mountain West play. They hardly have any losses on the season. They're all the way up to number 23 in the country, and they people, and their metrics look fantastic.
And that's great. That's a good thing for the Aztecs. Like, wait,
you want them to be undefeated until January 31st.
You want all these other teams, everyone else in the Mountain West, to win every time except when they play San Diego State, because that was a real concern when the Aztecs were struggling in the Polaris Era tournament. Was early on, there were some really bad losses.
Boise State's taken some terrible losses. And by the way, it seems like that triple overtime game against the Aztecs broke Boise State because they've been terrible ever since.
Right. So you were looking at it like, oh no, are the Aztecs even going to have the opportunity to get in that large bid if the Mountain West was kind of worse, besides them obviously earning an auto bid and winning the Mountain West championship? But it is nice that Utah State, New Mexico, Wyoming, some of these teams are picking up the slack that maybe we didn't expect going into the year to be this good. This is a really good opportunity for the Aztecs because it gives them opportunity to really go up the KenPom rankings.
Tough stretch of games. You got to win them all. That's kind of where I'm at for San Diego State. We'll have much more on that coming up at 4:00 tonight. Pre-game coverage. John Schaefer is going to be on the call coming up at 5. All right, we mentioned our ticket giveaways. You're going to have to wait, and you're going to have to listen closely, but we will give them away over the next couple of hours. Aztecs tickets for this Saturday's game. MGK and Wiz Khalifa at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater coming up in May. Both of those will be given away over the next 2 hours, so hang tight. It is San Diego Sports 760. Every day during this time, we do a little something called the Big Three. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. This is Sammy's Big Three. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
A couple of big guests joining the show today as well.
We do have some big guests.
Mark Willard coming up at 12:30. I get crap every time I bring him on, but who cares? The Niners Seahawks is the most talked about game of the weekend.
Mark's one of the best interviews there is.
I agree. So Mark Willard, who is, by the way, essentially the main reason I'm sitting right here right now, is going to be joining us at 12:30. And then coming up at 1:30, Marty Gorsich, who is the tournament director of the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, which, by the way, this year, kind of nice scheduling hack, takes place in between championship weekend and the Super Bowl.
That's the way to do it.
Golf on the main stage, baby, right here in San Diego. By the way, some excellent commits today that was big in the news. So we will get to all that coming up at 1:30 with Marty.
We might have to squeeze Marty for tickets live on air, put him in a bad spot.
That sounds like a great idea, Sammy. You should really just roll with that. Yeah, what does the Skybox go for these days? Oh, $400 for general admission. Yeah, I'll take one of those, please, for free.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe he gets a little pressure on air, and he.
How about the private Skybox, Sammy? You want one of those on 18? I think.
Listen,
I'm not going to $52,000 for.
I'm not going to turn it down if it's offered. I'll be there. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine paying $52,000 for a Skybox? I mean, companies buy these out. They host VIP parties in them, but that's just crazy, man.
Come on, iHeart. Front that, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Noreen. Where are we going, Sammy?
All right, big news broke right before our show. So quarterback Dante Moore, the projected number 2 overall pick, likely would have been headed to the Jets after the Raiders took Mendoza at 1, is returning to Oregon. Now, this is interesting because quarterback Dylan Raiola from Nebraska transferred to Oregon over the weekend. So a lot of people thought that he would be going back. That's all you put on here. But what is your reaction to the news? Does this boost Ty Simpson's stock? Like, where do you make of a weak quarterback class that already got even weaker?
That's really what one ass kicking will do to you, huh? I mean, Dante Moore gets his absolute teeth kicked in against Indiana, and now he's back at Oregon. I think this is good for college football. I really do. And if you watched Dante Moore in that game, you probably realized maybe he could use another year at college. And so I think this is good. Oregon's probably going to be back in a very similar position next year. I don't know what happens with Raiola, if I'm being completely honest. Does he decommit right away? Go take a couple $1 million elsewhere? I don't know. That's the guy that looks like Mahomes, right?
Yeah, he like tries to. He wears his number.
Number 15.
It's very creepy.
Wears the headband, gets the same haircut. It's very weird. But Dante Moore, this is good for college football. I do honestly believe that, and it's better by the fact that not only is he coming back for another year of college, but he's also staying with the school that we've seen him at over the last couple of years. That's the bigger part of the story to me. It's not like he's coming back and immediately transferring to, I don't know, Indiana, because that would make a lot of sense. But he's coming back and staying at Oregon. This is good. I'm very happy for Dante Moore and college football as a whole.
Well, the biggest winner here is Ty Simpson. So Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama, was projected to be the 3rd quarterback off the board because it was going to be Mendoza, Moore, and then him. Apparently, according to Ty Simpson, he has gotten $6.5 million NIL offers at Miami and a few, I believe, Tennessee, a few other schools to transfer from Alabama. He's the biggest winner in this because with Moore out, he automatically becomes the number 2 quarterback. He's not going to go in the top 5. He's not that good. But what have we seen draft after draft? There's always guys that people fall in love with at the combine. Teams become quarterback needy and desperate heading into the season, so they probably reach for a quarterback that probably doesn't have a first-round grade on him. I get it from Ty Simpson's angle. Dante Moore, to your point, it was a bad look against Indiana. He didn't play well in that game. Obviously, the pick 6 on the first play, they fought a little bit, but they were never really in that game. A problem for Dante Moore is this. Next year, you have Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Jade Maava. Like, again, we all thought this year, to be fair, was going to be a great quarterback class. Next year looks like it's going to be really good. There's going to be a lot of guys coming out, and I don't know if Dante Moore's measurables put him at the top there. Playing at Oregon is going to give you a lot of opportunities. I feel like Dante Moore, unless his agents were like, I don't want to go to the Jets, I want nothing to do with that organization, I would have probably come out this year because I think he'll be a higher pick this year than he will be next year.
Interesting. Well, it's good for college football, so I'm in on it. We got one more we want to squeeze in here?
Yes, NFL. So 4 offensive coordinator jobs are open. The Eagles, Chargers, Lions, and Bucks. What job is most attractive to you?
Feels like the Lions is the right answer here, doesn't it? I saw earlier today that Mike McDaniel was, or at least Detroit is heavily invested on trying to get Mike McDaniel to come be the Lions offensive coordinator. That just feels like such a home run to me. And for Mike McDaniel, you talk about reinventing yourself, going from Miami where things obviously ended poorly. Not all of it's his fault, but he goes to Miami and you can literally just take the Ben Johnson freeway from there. Or he goes to Detroit, take the Ben Johnson freeway from there. It feels like you go there with an offense that's ready-made, 2 excellent running backs, a scheme that could fit his expertise, which is really a power run expertise with some big plays over the top. Detroit is made for Mike McDaniel. If he could go there, spend a year, really up his cachet as one of the bright offensive minds once again, boom, another head coaching job is going to be open for him in 1 year's time, probably.
The Lions certainly have the most talent. I mean, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, they're all young too, outside of Goff, and he's not like...
Most of them are signed too, aren't they?
Right, most of them are signed. So if you're the Lions for like 1 year, to your point, I get where you're going with Detroit. Philly, to me, is too much drama. On paper, you got all the talent. You got Hurts, you got Saquon, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, Goddard.
What are the actual odds A.J. Brown is on the Philadelphia Eagles by the time next season begins?
That's the point. And if he is, do you want to deal with as an offensive coordinator when trying to get him the ball? Does he want the ball enough? Then he's going on Twitch streams. Saquon Barkley is getting up there. Saquon Barkley's still an elite rusher, but he's not young anymore. He's approaching 30. I would stay away from that. The Bucs seem a little bit old as well. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, some injury-prone players there because they're getting up there in age. I get you got Igbuka, but I stay away. I would go with the Chargers after the Lions. The Chargers, though, because when you look at an offensive coordinator trying to get a head coaching job, what do you want to be? Just better than the last guy. And to be fair to Greg Roman, now
that's a great point.
He wasn't. Greg Roman's not a good offensive coordinator. He wasted Lamar in Baltimore, and then he wasted Justin Herbert down here. You're automatically, though, as the offensive coordinator of the Chargers, going to be better because the offensive line presumably will be healthy. Slater and Alt are coming back next year. And then you're going to have some draft picks, Amari and Hampton healthy for year 2. The Chargers, if I'm looking to get a head coaching job, I think it's the easiest turnaround situation. The Lions, you have the most weapons, but also probably the highest expectations because if you don't succeed in that offense, like you're probably on the outs. The Chargers, there's a lot of room to grow. And if I was an offensive coordinator trying to get a head coaching job, I'd probably go to LA.
Yeah, I think the one knock on the Chargers would be that it's Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. And historically, Jim Harbaugh likes to have a relatively boring offense. Dan Campbell with Detroit likes to light it up.
And he's gonna let you pull trick plays out. He's gonna let you do whatever you want to do.
And you could just have that film reel of you being a superstar. Because Ben Johnson was a superstar when he was with Detroit. And I think that for some of the young guys, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury, Mike McDaniel, who may need another year at OC before they get another crack at a head coaching job, that seems like just such a perfect fit to me. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. First, I did want to read this comment from our buddy Rich on YouTube. Says, props to Sammy's Jayhawks knocking off unbeaten Iowa State last night. I got to watch a little bit of that game.
It was a crazy game.
Is there a more bipolar team in all of college basketball than the Kansas Jayhawks?
It's like the problem with Kansas is that they
lose
have
to UCF, ugly. What was it? Virginia?
Blown out by West Virginia.
West Virginia, right? And then they go out and beat Iowa State, who's been world beaters all year. They beat them by 20.
If you are picking the Kansas Jayhawks in the tournament, just know this: they have the best player in college basketball, Darren Peterson, who can literally drop 40 on anyone. The problem is, can the supporting cast do anything? Last night, the supporting cast was fantastic. It was a great game to watch, but yeah, they are an extremely bipolar basketball team.
You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. A wise man once said that. I do believe it's in the Bible. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break here. Tickets on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00 today. Is that Wiz Khalifa I hear right now?
And it's interesting because it's almost like a certain radio show has tickets to give away to Wiz and Machine Gun Kelly.
We sure do. They're performing on May 17th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you would like to win a pair of those tickets and not have to buy them, not have to spend your money, if you just want to win them, keep listening for the next 5 minutes. We're going to be giving them away. I promise you that. Mark Willard coming up at 12:30, who is almost as cool as MGK and Wiz Khalifa, but he's almost there. He's on the verge. All right, there's this story out of the Los Angeles Lakers, which you heard last night on San Diego Sports 760. Kind of a beatdown. Who saw that coming? Lakers lose 3 straight, win by 40. Talk about how Kansas is bipolar. I'm guessing the Lakers might be a little bipolar as well.
When the Lakers decide to play defense, they're a good team, and when they don't, it's...
Now, the interesting thing about the Lakers is kind of what's happening off the court right now. So for some reason, LeBron James' agent, Rich Paul, who we all know, has a podcast and talks about players that the Lakers should be trading or not trading. And so actually, I don't hate the trade he proposed, if I'm being completely honest, for the Lakers and for long-term success. He said he thinks that the Lakers should trade Austin Reeves to go get Jaren Jackson Jr., who's over the last 10 games averaging close to 20 points, close to 10 rebounds. He's excellent. He's excellent and would be a really nice pairing and fitting with Luka Doncic for the next 5 or 6 years. But I don't know what that does for you this year. Now, if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, there's already theories all over the place that Rich Paul is just LeBron, except has a microphone in front of him and says the things that LeBron can't say. Now, LeBron went to the podium and said, man, if you think that Rich Paul doesn't have his own brain and his own voice, blah, 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 blah.
So it's not a reflection of me.
Who cares? LeBron, everyone thinks it, and things have happened in the past that would suggest that no, and it is actually LeBron kind of talks through Rich Paul on a regular basis. If I'm the Lakers, dude, I honestly think I'm doing what I can to get Rich Paul and LeBron James as far away from my organization as possible. It's clear the Lakers are moving into a new direction, new ownership coming in. Jeannie's like really the only one left behind, and she's going to continue with the team as part of the team, but they just paid her $10 billion. If I'm the Lakers' new ownership, I want Rich Paul far away. I want LeBron James far away. And I actually really like what Austin Reeves has been doing. So while the trade might make sense on paper, Austin Reeves is homegrown talent, man. And he's playing really, really good basketball right now. I don't know if I'm listening to Rich Paul. I might be saying, okay, bye-bye, Rich.
Austin Reeves hasn't played since Christmas, and him and Luka are still the highest scoring duo in the league.
Isn't that crazy?
That's what's crazy. So this whole, I understand the fit. People questioning, can Luka and Reeves coexist because of the lack of defense? Reeves a lot because of his size. A lot of people think Luka doesn't try on defense. He's been a little bit better this year, but still not a very good defender. This is LeBron's last gasp because he knows that really no one wants to trade for LeBron because he's 41 and the Lakers would want young prospects back. They don't want to give that up. And he's heading into his final year of his deal. This is the final year of his deal. So LeBron's not locked up. He's not gathering a bunch of prospects via trade. In LeBron's head, he goes, wait, our problem is defense. Get me a multiple-time defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson Jr. to kind of almost play the AD role along with Luka Doncic, kind of make a big three, make a run this year. But like you said, that's not the best thing for the Lakers. The Lakers have already signaled to LeBron James by not offering him a contract for the future that if this is Luka's team, and it's honestly, then it's Austin Reeves' team. LeBron's a distant third. So LeBron needs to be studied his entire career. He's been great at this, whether you like LeBron or not. LeBron never says the thing that he wants done. Rich Paul and Clutch Sports always leak stuff. And this is, he can say whatever he wants about it. It's not a reflection of me. Of course, it is a reflection of you. He's your number one client. You've been buddy for your entire life. That does not come out. Rich Paul is not saying things without approval from LeBron James, especially when it comes to the Lakers. It's not going to happen. If he thinks that Rob Pelinka and them are going to trade Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr. to appease LeBron 10 years ago when he's 32, 31, sure. At age 41, no.
What do you think about the trade, though?
I think Jaren Jackson's exactly what the Lakers need in terms of they need a defensive-minded center.
But you would need him also with Austin Reeves.
Right. Like, I don't think if you trade Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr., you're then winning a title, because then I think the backcourt leaves a lot to be desired, right, and Luka's by himself. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr., Reeves, and Luka could do some serious damage, but LeBron's the odd man out in this equation. He still thinks he's the star of the show.
Yeah, if you brought in Jaren Jackson Jr., which I agree would be a great fit for the Lakers, it's almost like they would need to find somebody who could produce almost exactly the numbers and type of play that Austin Reeves produces.
Completely.
So you would need to find that.
And you don't have that on the bench right now.
Right. So we'll see about the Lakers, man. Every time LeBron talks, though, I'm like,
yeah,
it's so obvious what you're doing.
Right. It's like, did you not think that your agent is going to, like, Ben, I know we're going to break, but if you had a contract discussion with iHeart and your agent goes on a podcast and says something about you, about the team that you play for, about the radio station, and then you go, oh, no, it's not a reflection of me. Of course it is a reflection
Here's
of you.
what LeBron said. I think you all know by now, Rich is his own man, and what Rich says is not a direct reflection of me and how I feel. And I hope that people know that. I hope people know that, and they're not sensible to know that. Then I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Very defensive, LeBron. Very, very defensive. All right, Mark Willard is coming up next. He's hosting radio shows up in the Bay Area now after spending decades here in San Diego. Mark is the best, man. He's going to get us ready for this Niners-Seahawks game coming up on Saturday. That's next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by eBay. Aztecs back tonight taking on Wyoming in Laramie. Aztecs are currently 1.5-point road favorites in that one. Point total set at 148.5. That game will go in at 5 o'clock with Schaefer on the call. Fletch will get you pregame starting at 4. And big news out of the NFL and college football. Projected number 2 overall pick, Dante Moore out of Oregon, is returning to Oregon despite quarterback Dylan Raiola transferring there from Nebraska over the weekend. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you've become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. That's at eBay.
Tonight, the Aztecs are back on the road. They got Wyoming. Pregame coverage gets going at 4. Schaefer's going to have the tip just after 5 right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Man, when I first moved to San Diego, John Schaefer was running the board for Mark Willard and Rich Orberger. And how about Mark Willard joining us today here on San Diego Sports 760? Mark, what's going on, pal?
You know that I love you guys so much, and I love the way you always bring me on, but it does make me feel old because it feels like your entire station is just all my grandkids. That's not like I'm 50 years old, and that's all. You guys make me feel like I'm 80 with the fingerprints I've got over each of the shows there, but it also brings me a lot of joy. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, Mark. It's great to hear from you. You can hear Mark now up on 95.7 The Game, Willard and Dibs 2 to 6 weekdays, and then Fox Sports Radio. You hear him filling in or on the air over the weekends all the time. Now, Mark, these San Francisco 49ers, who you're covering a lot up there in the Bay Area now, and you know I'm a fan of the Niners, but the way they've played this year, it's hard for me to say this isn't Kyle Shanahan's best coaching job of his career because of what they've had to go through. And maybe that's an obvious take from the outside, but what's it been like covering this team on a week in, week out basis with everything they've had to go through, with all the injuries piling up, and somehow they just keep winning?
Well, I mean, your Shanahan comment is spot on. And to any of those, you know, we've really watched it with our fan base, the doubters, the frustrations with not winning the big one have really subsided, because what else can you say about a coaching staff, not just Kyle, the whole staff, even the idea that they would instill belief in this group, let alone go execute what they've executed, is just absolute next level stuff. And he probably should be the coach of the year. I don't know if he will be. There's a lot of good candidates. But to the rest of the question, kind of what it's been like, it's been unprecedented, because we've watched a fan base that I think all year long watched a team that would get its 8th win and its 9th win and its 10th win. And it still felt kind of muted, because I don't think, while the players believed, I don't think the fans did. And there might still be some who don't. So it was one of those things where it kind of felt like this fun distraction and story for people, but there wasn't any playoff fever. There wasn't any intensity to it, because nobody really thought it was going to go anywhere. That's what last week's win has produced. The fever is now here.
What player, obviously the Kittle injury tearing his Achilles, what players got to, in your estimation, step up the most skill position against Seattle on Saturday night?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting question, because, like, as always with the Niners, I don't even really know who those people are yet. You know, I don't know if Ricky Pearsall is going to play. It would be great to see Ricky Pearsall and Trent Williams play in this matchup when they didn't a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people thought that had an effect on the outcome. We'll see. But the name I'll bring up is a guy who caught the game-winning touchdown in Seattle back in week 1, and he's been a really nice surprise when he's had to be in there this year, and that's Jake Tonjes. He's not the blocker that George Kittle is. He's not the anything that George Kittle is, but he's a pretty good receiver. And the 49ers have a pretty good head coach who knows how to scheme some things open. And, you know, Seattle's got a great pass rush, and they're really good on the outside on defense. So I think the middle of the field and things a little closer to the line of scrimmage, if they can get Kyle Juszczyk and Jake Tonjes involved in the passing game, it would help a lot.
Mark Willard joining us today, talking about this San Francisco 49ers Seattle Seahawks game coming up. Now, Mark, early in the year, obviously Brock Purdy goes down in that 6-week stretch where it felt like every single week the Niners were losing somebody huge and important to the team. And Mac Jones comes in and plays great. And I'll be honest, I heard the chatter, and Sammy wanted to remind me every single day that, man, Mac Jones should probably just be the starting quarterback of the 49ers. And all Brock Purdy has done since he came back is been in top 3 of every single statistical category in the NFL for quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, man, the mental fortitude of this guy, he's pretty freaking impressive as a quarterback and as a human being, it seems like, for the Niners, isn't he?
I don't know. I'm sure you guys don't know this. They joke here in the city. They have nicknamed me the president of Brockistan. So you are speaking to his absolute biggest supporter in the Bay Area media. And I felt this all along, and I've sort of arrived at a point where sometimes I openly ask, what is it and when is it that this constant questioning and chatter would stop? Every single time he arrives at a spot where people brand him. Remember, last year when they had a rough year, it was, oh, see, Brock can't play without all of his Avengers, all of his superstar players. Whoops, where'd that narrative go? Because now his receivers are Juwan Jennings and who? Who's his tight end? So these things, we keep arriving. Then Mac Jones comes in, and it's, oh, see, any quarterback can run Kyle Shanahan's system. Then he comes back, and they start scoring 40 points a game. He's just a fantastic player who doesn't physically look like one. And so I guess until he wins a Super Bowl, these things are going to keep popping up. And quite frankly, I don't even know if after he wins a Super Bowl, they might still pop up the same way they do with Jalen Hurts, for example. But yes, he is a bunch of things that he doesn't appear to be on paper. He is much more of a competitor, much more of a leader, much more of a physically imposing opponent for defenses than he looks like when he walks into the room. And I just think that's the biggest part of his story.
What do you make of the fact that you'll be matched up with the Seahawks twice in 3 weeks? Who do you think that benefits, Seattle or the Niners?
Well, I mean, look, Seattle has the home field and the horses and the better defense and all of these things. So, like, the matchup favors Seattle because right now they're the better football team. You know, they're healthier, they're home, they're the 1 seed, they're all of those things. But I do think that if you go past that obvious, there's a couple things that are interesting for the 49ers. First of all, always beware of the team that sort of comes in with the nothing to lose label, right? It's like Carolina last week, and they can scare you a little bit. Secondly, I always feel like the team that just got beat is the one that needs to adjust, and so they're the ones that are going to come in with a new pitch. And the team that won, I think, just almost has to fight against the idea of, well, let's just go do the same thing again, which rarely ends up looking the exact same. So, Sammy, I'd stop short of calling it an advantage, but I think the Niners are an interesting spot due to the fact that they're the ones who get to adjust and try to throw a new pitch at Seattle and see if something works. Because as we've seen in this matchup, whoever gets off to a good start, that ends up being a really big deal.
Mark, what's interesting is I don't think you could have drawn up a tastier scenario for the Seattle Seahawks, who got the 1 seed in the NFC by winning at Levi's, who now host the 49ers to advance to an NFC championship game where they might be playing against the Rams, where then they could go to a Super Bowl and win it at Levi's Stadium. Like, for a conference opponent, this feels like the Seahawks probably have a lot of pressure on them to do just that. Like, that fan base is going to be rabid with the idea that you could torch the entire NFC West on your way to winning a Super Bowl with, by the way, a first-year quarterback in your organization. Like, there's some layers to this game where this is going to be historic on the other side of this no matter what, don't you think?
It's pretty juicy, and a lot of the Seahawks players openly admitted once this matchup came to fruition that they don't like the Niners. Like, there's a lot of bad blood there. There's a lot of these teams. There's chatter. Okay, they talk a lot, and so with what you just laid out, I mean, we'll see what the Rams do at Soldier Field this weekend. But it may turn out that this NFC that we called wide open all year was actually just the NFC West, as it turns out. Like I don't know, but if the Rams run all over the Bears, then it turns out that everything else was just a bunch of noise, and this conference is literally just these three teams. And if it comes down to all of that in some way, shape, or form, we know at least one of them is going to be in the NFC title game. So that leads to bad blood. That leads to teams who know each other really well, coaches who scheme one another constantly. And yes, I think that brings these matchups a little bit to the next level.
Well, darn, we didn't get to any of our Warriors or Giants questions. We had a bunch of them for you here, Mark.
Good. Good.
All right, brother.
I painful. The Warriors are going to trade Kuminga, and it can't come soon enough.
All right, Mark, you have a great day, man. Thank you for catching up with us. Glad you weren't in jury duty again today.
Yeah. All right, boys. Good talking to you.
Mark Willard up on 95.7 The Game in the Bay Area. Catch him weekdays 2 to 6. Willard and Dibs. Awesome dude, Mark Willard. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Long shots on the other side. Sammy's going to make us all some money. We said it at the beginning of the show. Are we having a great day today? The answer is yes. Do you want some Wiz Khalifa tickets right now? The answer is also yes. 877-767-4760. Wiz Khalifa MGK in May at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you want to go to the show, now is your chance to win on San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Sammy, what caller number?
Let's do number 14.
Number 14. You're going to the concert for free. San Diego Sports 760. Long shots next. about Mike winning those tickets to Wiz Khalifa and Machine Gun Kelly coming up in May at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater? We'll have another pair to give away tomorrow. I believe J-Riff is going to have a pair to give away a little bit later on today as well. Hey, we all remember that one teacher who made a difference in our lives, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. You can nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classrooms with whatever they need. Today's Teacher of the Day, Griselda Dominguez. She teaches at Emerson Elementary School. Folks told us her dedication to her students and inclusive classroom environment has made a lasting difference for families and many other families in the community. Congrats, Griselda. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Someone on the text line was campaigning for everyone to start voting for Kendall on iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Yeah. I saw that the other day.
I don't think I'm allowed to campaign for you to vote for Kendall.
So what you're doing is you're basically throwing out a feeler out there to see if someone wants to do it.
I mean, the text line did it.
The text line, text line can do whatever they want.
Her name is Mrs. Fletcher, and she works at Lakeside Farms Elementary School. But no, I'm not telling you to go vote for her. That'd be crazy. You know, she's actually up for Teacher of the Year.
She is.
How about that?
Hell yeah.
They picked like 3 or 4 teachers from the whole district, and Kendall got nominated to be Teacher of the Year.
Hell yeah.
Look at her.
What is that? What goes into that? Like what not like saying she's not qualified, but like what qualifies you for that?
You're a really good teacher.
Yeah. Do you have to campaign?
I don't think so. You get nominated by people within your school, and they there was an email that went out with a bunch of really nice paragraphs about her. I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Is she one of those teachers that has, like some teachers are like, oh, my lunchtime is like open. You can come in here during recess and everything. Or is she one of those teachers like, it's my time, get out of here?
That door is closed, bro.
Yeah, that'd be me.
And she's not eating with other teachers either. She's like, I get 10 minutes where I'm not dealing with first graders who I would imagine it's pretty exhausting to be around first graders for 8 hours a day. So her door is closed at lunchtime.
I actually, a quick little sidebar story. I had a Spanish teacher, not Profe Musco is the greatest, a different Spanish teacher who did not like me at all. And she had a rule that if you were late once, you got 5% docked off your grade. And if you were late twice, you got a detention every time. And I was late every single day. But she didn't like me, and she had an open lunchroom area, or like her classroom was open. You could have lunch in there, but she had people in there who like she wanted to be around, but she never gave me detention because she didn't want me in there during her lunchtime. So that was kind of the motto. I was like, listen, be so insufferable that they don't want you around, to where I never got detention. And I was late every single day until one girl commented on it, and then she had to give me a detention. But she let me leave early because I was frustrating her in her lunchroom time.
Who would have thought that Sammy Long would be a terrible student and extremely insubordinate and disrespectful to adults? Man.
I got a lot of talking too much, but I'm like, it kind of fits my business that I'm in now.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, well, let's get to long shots, and hopefully Sammy's going to make us some money. Loser last night because Steph Curry didn't play after the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, Steph Curry sold it. Jake LaRavia came through for us. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came for us. Derek Queen actually had a great night for New Orleans. It was more about him rebounding, though. He missed his over by 3 points. So tough beat last night on long shots.
Well, let's see if we can get it back tonight. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Say that to me and his man.
With long shots.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. By the way, I was going to say something. No, I don't remember at all what it was.
What are you going to say?
I don't remember. It's not important. Go ahead, Sammy.
All right. 2 NBA picks, 1 college basketball pick. 1 college basketball pick in Fletch found this one, and I agree with it. So we're going to go with Miles Bird, more than 15.5 points and rebounds. Miles Bird quietly has really kind of taken on a more aggressive scoring role. And I think it's been odd because he was up for the NBA draft last year, kind of tested the waters, was kind of basically told by NBA teams he's a second-round pick. And in the NBA, you're looking for 3-and-D guys. That's probably what Miles Bird is in the NBA. Could be a really effective 3-and-D player, hit threes, play defense. So it's honestly like weird early in the year. It's like he was trying to kind of fit that mold. fit that mold of being of hitting threes and playing defense. In the last couple games, he's gotten back to what makes Miles Byrd special. Not that he can't do those things, but he really is a great scorer, and he can really get in the lane. He penetrates the defense. That's what Miles Byrd has done. I think you saw that on the last time against Nevada. The game was close at half, and you saw him come out immediately, take, I believe, the first 3 shots after halftime. Miles Byrd being more aggressive. I think on the road in a hostile environment, in the elevation of Wyoming, you want to lean on the veterans. You want to lean on the guys who have been here before. Miles Byrd, big night tonight. More than 15.5 points and rebounds for Miles Byrd.
I like it. The 3 guys I'm noticing on San Diego State who are just playing different now is Miles Byrd, Taj DeGorville, and Magoon Guath. It was like all 3 of them were playing real tight to start the year, and now they're all playing very loose and free, and the team is better for it because of it. I like the pick. Sammy, what's next?
All right, Peyton Watson, guard for Denver. Now, he popped off last night. He was excellent. But we're going to go under 20.5 points. This Denver team, ironically, and it's a testament to Denver and their scouting staff and really being able to put a roster around Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Everyone thought when Nikola Jokic went out for a month, for weeks, that it was like they were kind of going to go in the tank, and it was going to probably end up being a low seed in the Western Conference. That has not been the case. Jamal Murray, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, this staff, like, has this team has really kind of went more guard oriented, and they're a tough team to stop. Peyton Watson was excellent last night. He scored in the 20s, but we're going to go less than 20.5, playing the Dallas Mavericks. Second night of a back-to-back. I think Vegas is baiting us with this number a little bit because people saw Peyton Watson have a big performance last night. Second night of a back-to-back. I could also see them getting up big on Dallas, him getting pulled out of the game as a starter. So I think 20.5, too big of a number for Peyton Watson from the Denver Nuggets, less than 20.5 points. Then on to Philly and Cleveland. Philly and Cleveland are interesting teams because if you're not, the 2 favorites right now in the Eastern Conference, I think, would have to be Detroit and the New York Knicks. The Knicks have been there before. Detroit got beat by the Knicks last year in 6 games, but both those teams, Detroit is very deep, and then the Knicks are carried by guys who have been there before. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, they're both primed for a run. But if you don't believe in either of those 2, I think Philly and Cleveland are your next looks. Cleveland was projected to be the top team in the Eastern Conference heading into the year. They've underperformed a little bit. Max Strus, some of their guys, they haven't been totally healthy. When they get in the tournament, though, they are going to be a tough out. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. It's a very compact unit. I think the problem is Donovan Mitchell doesn't really have a running mate in that regard. But Philly has quietly, when Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey play, after having really struggled, I believe they started 0-6 together to start the year, has really been putting it together. VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre. Philly is kind of one of my dark horse teams in the Eastern Conference. I think if they get in at the bottom of the bracket, they're going to be hell for one of these teams at the top to get out. But in regards to tonight, Tyrese Maxey, more than 27.5 points. This is, as I mentioned, going to be a guard duel. This is going to be Maxey versus Donovan Mitchell. I think the Sixers are the better team. Maxey comes out on top. Maxey does not get enough pub as being one of the best players in the NBA. He's quietly putting together a MVP-type season. There's just guys like Luka and Cade Cunningham and Shea that are in front of him. I think more than 27.5 points for Tyrese Maxey tonight against a good Cleveland defense, but you can really take advantage of their guard play because Mitchell has to focus so much offensively rather than on the defensive end to keep them in the game. So to recap, Miles Byrd, San Diego State, more than 15.5 points and rebounds. Peyton Watson, guard for the Denver Nuggets, less than 20.5 points. Second night of the back-to-back. Tyrese Maxey going to get after Donovan Mitchell tonight. More than 27.5 points against the Cavs.
I like it a lot. I really do. All right. In hour number 2, we are going to get into some news out of the college football world that I think is good for the game. We're also going to get into some UFC news, but I did for just a second here. Giannis Antetokounmpo just went viral earlier this week after he said, I would never ask for the Bucks to trade me. I would never demand a trade. It was something along those lines. Well, last night he did something that I guess he's been doing it all year, but it just went viral because it's Giannis and it was a little more public last night. He booed back at the Milwaukee fans. So the guy who is saying I would never disrespect my team by asking for a trade is now turning around and booing the fans that paid a lot of money to go see him. Just an interesting little dichotomy of Giannis Antetokounmpo there. I think the quote was, I was definitely booing back. When I get booed, I boo back. I've been doing that all season.
Yeah, I think
Giannis is funny, dude.
Giannis is great. I think Giannis was trying to be kind of the good soldier. And I think if I'm personally honest, don't be like Dame. Dame's respectable, great player. You wait too long in one place. I know he already got a ring, but Giannis could go down as an all-time great if he goes somewhere else because he could easily win 2 or 3 more rings. He's not doing that in Milwaukee.
It's just so interesting, the dichotomy between the week that Giannis Antetokounmpo has had. All right, quick break here. Hour 2 coming up next. We still got Aztecs basketball tickets to give away in the second hour of the show, plus some fun stories that have been on the back burner with the NFL postseason charging along as it has. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. Aztecs tonight in Wyoming at 5 o'clock. Schaefer will get you on the call starting then. Fletcher gets you pregame starting at 4 o'clock. Aztecs 1.5 point road favorites with the point total set at 148.5. Two-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Adam Thielen has also retired from the NFL today. And star left-handed pitcher Ranger Suarez has agreed to a 5-year deal with the Boston Red Sox. Choosing the right home service company is just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. I do believe Jay Riff is in for Schaefer today, who's going to be calling the Wyoming game a little bit later on tonight. So let's get hour 2 going. We still have a pair of Aztecs basketball tickets for this weekend's game against New Mexico. If you have not been to Viejas Arena for a San Diego State New Mexico game, I would highly recommend trying to win these tickets. It's electric in there for these two teams who don't exactly like each other, is how I'll put that lightly.
You know, also, real quick, because we value our listeners so much,
sure,
we also have another pair of MGK and Wiz tickets to give away.
Man, Santa Claus in mid-January.
Santa Claus giving out late gifts to the children.
All right, well, we got 2 giveaways this hour. That means I can guarantee you one of them will be given away here in the next 10 minutes. How about that? All right, I apologize. I have not looked at the text line once today. Let's pop this thing open real quick. 619, whoever is the offensive coordinator for the Chargers will just get the blame and get fired when Herbert chokes again in the playoffs. Very funny, 619. 858, yeah, that's because any quarterback can, in fact, look great in Kyle Shanahan's system. All right. 949, well-deserved to Kendall Fletcher. Hope you win it. Yeah, Kendall nominated for Teacher of the Year. Pretty cool. 619, Fletch, if you could choose between Kendall winning $5,000 for being a teacher or for the Niners to win the Super Bowl, what would you pick? And your bet doesn't count. So I am going to make like $5,000 if the Niners win the Super Bowl, which would be sweet. But I am going to take the Niners all day long. There's not too many things in this life that you could tell me, hey, pick between a Niners Super Bowl and this to happen. I'm picking a Niners Super Bowl for most of it.
Yeah, people have asked me before, like when the Chiefs are on, like, hey, do you want to like go get lunch? I'm like, no. I it's my favorite time of the week is the 3 hours the Chiefs are playing. So like a lot of people, non-sports fans, don't get that. They're like, why would that be? But when you love a team like that, it's different. And so that's why I'm with you. Well, I'm obviously not a Niner fan, but I see where you're going with the Niners Super Bowl.
There's not much. Like, I'm honestly trying to think. So if I could lay this out there for people, I was born in 1996. Does anyone off the top of their head, Sammy, do you know when the last Niners Super Bowl was?
It was
a year
92.
Before I was born. It was 1995.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was 1995 was the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl. So I have not been alive for a single Niners Super Bowl. And they're one of the franchises in the National Football League who have more than anybody else. And
you've been alive for them in the Super Bowl.
And my brother and my uncles all get to talk about how great it was watching Joe Montana and Steve Young hosting those trophies. They all talk about it all the time. And you know what I've seen? I've seen Kyle Williams muff 2 punts in the NFC postseason. I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo overthrow Emmanuel Sanders in the fourth quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs in a game which the Niners outplayed the Chiefs, Sammy. I have seen Patrick Mahomes.
It's a problem when that bad man's on the other side.
March down the field in overtime against Brock Purdy and win the game. Like, I've seen all that.
I'll give you credit though, because at least you're not like Jim Russell and turned off the game when the Chiefs completed the 4th and 1. Like that's just crazy. Like I can't even put that together.
I've seen the New York Giants just walk right past the San Francisco 49ers twice and go on to win Super Bowl. So yeah, it's been a lot of pain and suffering. So I don't know what that number is where I would say I'll take that amount of money over a 49ers Super Bowl, but I promise you it's more money than I have ever had in my life in my bank account. So yeah, there's not much to the texter's point from the 619 that I wouldn't take for it. And I think as sports fans, it's something we could all get behind. I feel similarly to the Padres. Like there's not much I wouldn't take to see the Padres finally get that World Series trophy because it's never happened before and it'd be pretty freaking cool. Now, Ranger Suarez probably would have helped that out. Don't you think so?
I was about to say, I was like, man, it's hard. Like, listen, we're all stoked for baseball season, and it's great seeing the Padres. And the Padres are going to field together a team.
What was that number for Ranger Suarez, by the way? 5 years,
5 years. Let me pull it up. I don't have it right in front of me.
I think it was 130, but that's just another free agent pitcher that's off the market. So
well, it's hard when I think the frustrating part for everyone that loves the Padres is the team is not that far off. Like they really aren't. And
they might be a Ranger Suarez away.
Well, that's why it's people will be like, oh, you guys are hard on them. It's like, because this is not like a Miami Marlins situation where they're awful. They have no chance. It's not even in the realm of possibility of them getting in doing damage. It's hard when you see teams like the Diamondbacks acquire Nolan Arenado. You see the Giants out there getting better. Have had some multiple offseason acquisitions. Don't even get into what the Dodgers have done in the offseason, signing the best closer on the market outside of Mason Miller. So it's hard when the Padres are standing pat and we hear a lot of, well, if they get in, there's hope. It's like, yeah, every team can say that. Every team can say that if they get in, they could potentially get on a hot streak. And that's why, Fletch, I know you and I feel the same way. I give AJ Preller no flack. Has everything AJ Preller's done worked out? No, it hasn't. But at least AJ Preller goes out there with the limited resources that he has and is making trades at the deadline and kind of pulling rabbits out of his you-know-what. Because could you imagine AJ Preller?
His butt. That's what Sammy meant.
Could you imagine if AJ Preller had the bankroll of a Dodgers or a Yankees or a Mets, what he would be able to do?
No, the world might come to an end, Sammy. It's probably a good thing AJ Preller doesn't have that, because I don't know what would happen if he did. It is frustrating kind of standing by. I saw an article in The Athletic earlier today that was talking about all the different baseball teams that got better this offseason. And then it literally said this. I swear to God, it says that the Padres have done nothing.
Well, and last thing before we get to the big three, they go, what do the Padres number one need? Starting pitching. I love it. They got Michael King back. And then now we're talking about reports of Nick Pivetta possibly on the move. What I get the buy low, sell high thing. Maybe Nick Pivetta is capped out of what you think he can be because he had an excellent season last year.
I do think last year was the best he could possibly
which is fair. But what's the answer? Trading
and what are you getting back is the bigger thing. Are you getting guys who are going to be good in 5-6 years? Because guess who's not going to be good in 5 or 6 years? Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts, who will still be Padres because their contracts last forever. It's a interesting situation we got here. All right, let's get to the big three here. All right, we'll get to the big three here. Keep the text coming in, 70470. Start your message with Team Shemme. Smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right. We got some interesting stuff going on. Sammy, where would you like to start here with hour two?
Let's head to NFL and college football.
I like it.
So there's all these head coaching openings, right? 9 head coaching openings. And the name that people have not really been talking about is Marcus Freeman. So Marcus Freeman, head coach at Notre Dame, was heavily linked to a lot of these jobs. And a lot of people kind of shut it down going, is being at Notre Dame better than being the coach of the Cleveland Browns or something like that, when Notre Dame, we know, has all the resources, and we know that the lack of production, the lack of success that some of these organizations have had for a lot of years. But now with the Steelers and the Ravens now open, Marcus Freeman said today Notre Dame must leave no doubt for 2026 college football playoff. If he gets an offer, if you're Marcus Freeman, would you jump to the NFL for any franchise, or would it only be for a select few, or are you staying at Notre Dame and waiting for the coaching cycle to reset?
So the report that was out yesterday was he is expected to be staying at Notre Dame, even though there are all these openings in the NFL.
But there's a lot of like rumors that teams are reaching back out because of all the openings.
Right. Now, here would be my take if I'm Marcus Freeman. I'm looking at this college football playoff field and saying, oh, my team is good enough to be in this Final Four. My team is good enough to make the national championship game. Because in truth, I think Notre Dame could have been one of these last teams standing. And I don't really understand still fully why Notre Dame didn't make the college football playoff. But I honestly think if they did, there's a real shot Notre Dame could have been playing against Indiana this weekend. So if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm saying, no, I'm just going to come back next year and win the whole damn thing. And I think that's probably the right choice for him right now. The NFL is going to be waiting for you on the other side, especially if you keep having successful seasons. And you could very much take a Jim Harbaugh route where you go win a national championship, cheat if you need to, and get to the NFL that route and maybe do a couple of back and forths. But Marcus Freeman's still a young guy. And he's got a team with a lot of guys coming back next year and with a unlimited NIL funding with Notre Dame that could easily go win a college football national championship next year. So, yeah, I think the right choice maybe is to stay for another year, especially rather than take a Raiders job, which would come with so much risk. Why would you?
He's set at Notre Dame. My thing is this, though. It used to be in college football, it was kind of the safe job. Like 10 years ago, college football was the safe job. College football was the one that the head coaches are kind of institutions there. They're not going anywhere. You're recruiting. Kids are staying. Especially when you have the kind of resources that Notre Dame has, the ability to, you're a premier college football program when the Notre Dame brand carries a lot of weight. Having a college football job might have been safer than having an NFL job. I think it's flipped in the sense of not that Marcus Freeman's going anywhere, but not only in college football do you have to recruit your own players to stay, you have to go out on the recruiting trail constantly. You're constantly losing guys to the transfer portal based on the playing time you're giving them. It's honestly, in a weird way, less of a headache to be in the NFL. And I think considering, like, I disagree a little bit. I think the Raiders' job, would you want to jump into a division with Harbaugh and Reed and Sean Payton? Probably not. But you need Coach Mendoza, Jency, Bowers. What about the Giants? What about Harbaugh can only go to one of these spots. And then Marcus Freeman goes Baltimore. You have the chance to coach Lamar Jackson. Like, there's a lot of opportunities that would be very appealing. And I think it honestly be less of a headache for Marcus Freeman to jump to the NFL than stay down there.
There's definitely going to be that opportunity next year. What we've seen in the NFL is every single year there's going to be 6 to 9 openings at the NFL level. This year there may be 10. We'll see how the next round of the postseason goes. But Marcus Freeman, his stock is only rising. And I think Notre Dame missing the postseason this year, when most of the country would say Notre Dame probably deserved to be in there, might bump his stock up even more next year when Notre Dame goes out there and dominates the field.
That's a good point. Let's go to the Steelers owners. The Steelers owner on a rebuild. That's kind of what everyone's estimating is going to happen. Mike Tomlin's gone. Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old, said, quote, "I don't like that word. They don't want to do a rebuild."
Colin's been saying some wacky stuff lately. Colin Cowherd, who I'm a big fan of. A big part of the reason I'm in this industry at all is because I listened to Colin Cowherd a ton growing up. Colin Cowherd had a great point this morning. And he essentially said, you know why the Patriots are the 2 seed in the AFC Championship or on their way to a potential AFC Championship game this year? It's because they sucked for a couple of years and they were able to get Drake May. For the last 5 years of Tomlin's head coaching tenure at Pittsburgh, they needed to suck for a couple of them because they needed to get some draft picks in there. And what we expect to be a really, really good quarterback class next year, imagine if Pittsburgh's able to get the number 1 overall pick. Pittsburgh's one of those franchises like the Packers who they're at their best when they have a very stable quarterback, and they've had stretches where they go decades with the same guy. If Pittsburgh can find that guy, maybe it's an Arch Manning, who knows? Maybe it's a Dante Moore after another year in college. If Pittsburgh can find that guy in next year's draft, not this one that's upcoming in April, but the one after that, Pittsburgh could go on another run where they have the same head coach for 20 years, where they have the same quarterback for 15 years. Like, that's very possible. In order to get to that, you kind of need to suck next year. You need to be at the bottom of the AFC.
That's why they got to blow up this defense. Because although the defense wasn't great this year, a defense with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Cam Hayward, and they have a lot of talent on this
How many
team.
first rounders could you get for those 3 guys if you were to sell them off this offseason?
Oh, TJ Watt would easy go for 2. Easy, maybe 3. Like, that
Hayward
would go for a ton.
could probably go for a second at this point in his career, or he may retire. You never know.
Hayward's old, so yeah, his value be limited. Highsmith would go for a high pick. Like, you could reset this thing. Trying to do the on-the-fly thing, to your point, if you go with some average quarterback, like let's say you go get a quarterback that's not terrible. Let's say Kyler Murray becomes available. Let's say someone like that, and you're going to win enough games to where you're not picking at the top of the draft, but you're also not going to be in Super Bowl contention. No one really believes that. So I get where he's coming from, and I get from a fan base that Pittsburgh, it's not okay to be completely rebuilding and completely bottoming out, but the worst thing to be in the NFL is barely missing the playoffs. That's the worst thing. Picking 18, 19. You didn't make the postseason, and you're not in a position to really make change. Bottoming out, being at the top of the draft, and being able to finally get a franchise quarterback that could succeed. Ben Roethlisberger is what they need to do. And if you got to have a year where you suck, then you got to have a year where you suck. But I think just kind of running the same group back, like this group has proven what they can get to. They'll win you a decent amount of games. They might win you the division. They're not winning you a Super Bowl. It is time for a rebuild in Pittsburgh.
The only team that's kind of successfully done it is Seattle in recent memory. And Seattle did it masterfully, but they did it by smashing the draft at the back end of the first round.
And they got a quarterback that in unique circumstances where people cast him off. He's still young, but had shown he could play at a high level.
Seattle since 2009 hasn't had a season worse than 7 wins, and they only did that once. They did it in 2021. Like, Seattle has been able to successfully skirt the rebuild, and now they're right back to where they were when Russ was at his peak with Seattle. So it's kind of hard to believe, but that's really the only team I've been able to see do it here over the last couple of decades. All right, quick break here. On the other side, let's get you ready for an interview we're going to do coming up at 1:30. Marty Gorsich is coming on. He's the tournament director for the Farmers Insurance Open out at Torrey Pines, which is coming up in a few weeks. So we'll kind of tell you some of the comings and goings around the world of golf, because it just got fascinating, man. Liv just threw a shot across the bow of the PGA Tour. We'll let you know what it was on the other side. Read your YouTube comments as well. But right now, time to give away some tickets, Sammy. How about some Aztecs basketball tickets? They're playing this Saturday night at Viejas Arena against the New Mexico Lobos. Should be an incredible game and an incredible environment at Viejas Arena. If you would like to go to that game for free, you can call us right now, 877-767-4760. GoAztecs.com to buy tickets. Sammy, what caller number?
So caller 11.
Caller 11. You're going to the game on Saturday night. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel, and they are rewarding table game players every single month during their thrilling Cash is King event. Earn entries all month long through table game play by using your Players Club card with all your favorite table games in both low and high limits. Earning entries is easy and fun. Then join Valley View Casino on Saturday, January 31st at their main stage bar. For this month's Cash is King giveaway, $10,000 in cash are going to be given away to 45 guests all night long. Drawings to win $200 every hour, starting at 7 until 10 o'clock at night. Plus at 10:30, there's going to be a grand prize drawing for $400 for each for 5 lucky guests. Don't miss Cash is King on January 31st from 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. only at Valley View Casino and Hotel. To earn rewards while you play, be sure you use your Players Club card. And if you're not a Players Club member yet, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus, right now, when you join the Players Club, you're going to receive over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly at Valley View Casino, including $10 of more play. That's free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, which is some of the best food in San Diego, man. $10 to Patties and Pints, $10 to the cafe, $10 to sticks or snacks, and the list goes on and on and on. The more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you'll earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events and more. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel on January 31st for the Cash is King event and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. I think J-Riff is going to jump in for a couple hours while John Schaefer's getting ready for Aztecs basketball, which is tonight at 5 o'clock against Wyoming on the road in Laramie. I'll be with you starting at 4 o'clock, getting you ready for that game. All right, we got some texts that we got to get to. 858, I love Lamp. Me too, Brick. Me too. 949, you guys doing a pregame setup on the Mesa for Saturday night, hoping to get down there early, and we'll swing by to say hi. So, interesting story. Saturday night is my beautiful wife's 30th birthday. So I'm actually taking the night off. It'll be the only Aztecs basketball/football game I miss on the calendar year this year. Sammy Long is going to be outside Viejas Arena getting you ready for the game Saturday night, also handling halftime duties. Thank you, Sammy.
Come by and say what's up, man. We'd love to see you.
Yell a bunch of words right at Sammy's face.
Yeah. The more vile, the better. I want to hear it go over the airwaves. We want to get a call from our boss.
Well,
that can't be.
Maybe just read up on the FCC violations and say all the words that the FCC allows.
There's something you can get around.
Yeah. 615. Well, I was alive in 1985 when Joe Montana carved up the Miami Dolphins defense. Let me just tell you, it wasn't all that impressive. 615 is our resident Dolphins fan. 858. I'd literally give every dollar I have to watch one of my teams win a championship. Man, it's something.
That is a valid point.
Sports have a weird hold over us. 858, college football is doomed. Does anyone here watch minor league baseball often? Bye-bye.
The old David Spade reference there with the bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 916, when Stanman gets fired, now we have Bud Black. Yeah, did you see
Black.
Buddy Black and Will Myers added to the Padres coaching staff.
We got to get Quintero on, the coach, on the show. Him and Buddy Black are good friends.
Buddy Black, back with the Padres. He was a longtime Padres manager and has bounced around a little bit. Got fired from the Rockies midseason, which I actually think the Rockies were doing him a little bit of a favor because that team was going nowhere. Could you imagine being a manager of a team like that? So he's back with the Padres, which is good for the Pods. And it's weird for Craig Stammen. You got to do your absolute best to try to surround him with as many great baseball minds as possible as a first-time manager, as a first-time coach, because it's going to be a learning on the fly. And, man, I thought the Padres were kind of past that. But Buddy Black, a dude with decades of experience managing baseball teams, in his ear, hopefully that's going to be good. And Will Myers, who's a fan favorite around San Diego. Will Myers had one of the most bizarre career arcs with the Padres you've ever seen. Because his rookie season, when he won Rookie of the Year, this town was on fire.
He was going to be a superstar.
He was going to be a superstar. And then he sucked. And, man, Will Myers really struggled for a couple of years. And then towards the end of his career, it was like, no, we love Will Myers.
Well,
Will
I think
Myers is
to be fair to Will Myers, there was a lot of you were asking him to be the whole team,
right,
and to be the star. There's a lot of guys in basketball who can be sixth man of the year, but when you have to be the guy, be the 30 points per game scorer star, there's differences there. But if Will Myers had a little bit more help, could have seen what his career would have amounted to. But yeah, shout out to Will Myers and Coach Black back with the Padres.
I'll never forget Will Myers going to celebrate with Padres fans in the gas lamp after a playoff win. He went and bought an entire bar shots on the night. And I was like,
awesome. That's
the coolest move you could possibly do as a pro athlete. Showing up at one of your team's bars and going and buying a round of shots for everybody in the place. Will Myers is a superstar for that and that alone. All right. Before we get to Marty Gorsich, who is the director of the Torrey Pines Farmers Insurance Open, which is coming up in a couple weeks, he's going to be on the show at 1:30. I did want to say Live Golf is firing back at the PGA Tour after the PGA Tour welcomed back in Brooks Koepka. Now, Brooks Koepka is going to have to pay, I think it's a $5 million charity fine, quote unquote, and he won't be eligible for some of the winnings this year in the FedEx points. But he got away with kind of just a slap on the wrist for taking hundreds of millions of dollars to leave the PGA Tour. But did you see what Live Golf did today?
Dustin Johnson, baby.
They said, hey, DJ, you want another couple $100 million? Come on back. 3-year contract extension for Dustin Johnson.
Well, okay,
I love this.
Ben, educate me real quick because you're the golf expert here. What I thought that Live and the PGA, they're all playing together. So when I saw this morning, I was confused.
Kind of playing together. It's weird. They're starting to break down some of the barriers to try to reunite golf, but there is still a very clear distinction, separate. Like Dustin Johnson will not be allowed to play in PGA Tour events.
Okay, I saw him talking about they're going to new locations, South Africa. Something he was like,
he
did a whole press
majors.
Release.
He cannot play in PGA Tour sanctioned events. Like he would not be eligible to play in the Farmers Insurance Open.
Okay.
Brooks Koepka is eligible to play. I thought there was going to be a year ban, if I'm being completely honest, if you wanted to make your way back. But the PGA Tour, I think, along with Tiger Woods, have sort of built this I can't remember what it's called, player reintegration, something or other, so you can make the move back from Live to the PGA Tour. And there is some penalties. You got to do $5 million to charity. You are ineligible to win a certain amount of money from the FedEx Cup points, which happen at the end of the year every year. But if Brooks goes out and wins Farmers, he's taking home the purse.
I got to say, just from a gambler perspective, golf being back, betting heading into Sunday with nothing to do and sitting there watching some random tournament on the PGA is just like one of the most relaxing things you can do with the summer.
Dude, hungover Sunday mornings with the boys betting on some golf are some of my favorite memories from college. All right. Speaking of golf, we got Marty Gorsich coming up next. He's the tournament director for the Farmers Insurance Open out there at Torrey Pines, which is coming up. It's on the weekend in between NFC, AFC championships and the Super Bowl. It is perfectly placed. This is going to be a ton of fun. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by eBay. Aztecs basketball back tonight in Wyoming, taking on the Cowboys. That game is going at 5 o'clock. Schaefer will be on the call. Fletch will get you pregame starting at 4. Aztecs currently 1.5 point road favorites, with the point total coming down from 148.5 to 147.5. And star Oregon quarterback Dante Moore will not be going to the NFL. He was the projected number 2 overall pick to the New York Jets. He will be returning to Oregon next season. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your card. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Aztecs basketball a little bit later on tonight. 5 o'clock tip off, 4 o'clock pregame. Stay tuned all day long here on San Diego Sports 760. And perfect timing, man. Wednesday during the NFL postseason, things going on all around us, but we get to settle in and talk about one of my favorite things in the world, which is the game of golf and the PGA Tour and the Farmers Insurance Open, which is coming up January 29th through February 1st. Right in between the NFC, AFC championship games and the Super Bowl. Get tickets now at farmersinsuranceopen.com. And joining us, the director of the Farmers Insurance Open, Marty Gorsich, jumping on the air here. Marty, great to hear from you, man. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. How's everything going in your world?
All is great, man. Thanks for having me. We're pumped. Just 2 weeks away.
It's the best time of the year here in San Diego, and it's going to be an awesome tournament. The field's starting to come into form, but let's start here because years past, the tournament's been situated kind of Wednesday through Saturday, which at the time was a great move. But this time, the tournament falls in between the NFC, AFC championship games and the Super Bowl. So perfect to get back to that normal PGA Tour schedule. Thursday through Sunday should be a blast, shouldn't it?
Yeah, we're excited. You know, there's advantages with each format. But a great one about where we swing and get more traditional is it opens up another weekend day for people to come out and not have to think about work or anything else going on. They can just come out, enjoy it, and watch us crown the champion Sunday.
You guys got some big names in this tournament. Obviously, hometown favorite Xander Schauffele, Koepka, a lot of guys. Who do you think is going to be the hometown favorite? Is it going to be Schauffele? Like who's going to be drawing the biggest crowds at this thing?
It's really two things, right? It's who are the guys, and then sometimes it's the way they're paired up. Thursday, Friday, the tour lumps guys together, sometimes with a story. So we may see a story that's about some local guys put together. You may see a couple, they call them super groups with big names. Sometimes they put some up-and-comers together. So once in a while, that'll influence things. I definitely can see some scenarios where there could be a local group or even SDSU group that a lot of the local folks would follow. You got some favorites, Finau is always very popular. Ludwig Aber, who won at the Genesis here last year when we moved it down, and he was leading our tournament after 2 days until they had to leave with the flu. So it's always interesting to see where the fans go. Also, is it on the North Course, on the South Course? That's the beauty here. You get to roam around. You're not just in a fixed seat, so you can kind of adjust your day, follow players, but also settle up by a hole if it's a historic hole or just got great views and check it out there as well.
Well, today, Marty, you guys got some new commits. Jason Day, who's a 13-time PGA Tour winner, 2015, 2018 Farmers Insurance Open champion, 2015 PGA Championship winner. Jason always brings a nice crowd in San Diego. You mentioned Tony Finau, but the name we kind of want to settle in on here is Brooks Koepka, who's making national headlines this week. He's made the jump back from the LIV Tour to the PGA Tour. I mean, obviously for you and for the Farmers Insurance Open, this is obviously a no-brainer. Like, you'd love to have Brooks out there. He's one of the biggest draws in golf. But as a golf fan, what did you think about Brooks being able to just make the jump back? And there's going to be some fines, some punishments to go with it. But as a golf fan, how do you feel about Brooks Koepka making his way back from LIV to the PGA Tour?
I love it. I mean, this some of the new leadership at the tour that came over from the NFL, their commitment was we want to listen to the fans. And the fans want to see the best golfers playing at the best places. And figuring out a way when Brooks wanted to come back, a way to do it so you're fair to your existing membership, but you're also giving the fans what they want by bringing back these top players. They figured it out quick. They got to a common enough ground, and we're blessed that he wanted to get here to start the season. Torrey gets the season kicked off, and so we've got him in our field.
The Farmers Insurance Open, obviously, it's always just a great experience for fans. What kind of food, drink options are you guys going to be offering to everyone that makes the trip out there this year?
It's a balance. We have learned over time and at our surveys, since we only happen once a year, there's certain things people have or experience that they say, don't change that. I'm coming back next year. I want to do the day just the way I did. Just the same. We're always tweaking or adding things, really focused on the morning hours. Because as we were finding that people are starting to get the flow and like to come out earlier, start their day earlier with us, we needed some morning options. And that's both on the food side. We added this, a couple versions of this breakfast hand pie. Think almost like an empanada, but a little flakier, really good. But also even some breakfast cocktails. Some folks want to come out and have a good time. So we tweaked out some Bloody Marys. We added almost like an espresso martini morning drink. So finding ways to let people come kind of take in the day however they wanted, but make sure that we were encouraging them to come out here and we'd have stuff for them right away. Not that they were going to have, breakfast at home or start somewhere else. So a couple different items there. And then everybody loves Cardiff Crack in town. We worked with them and have created some birria tacos with Cardiff Crack in them that are just ridiculous. So that'll be a highlight out here as well.
Ooh, I want some right now. FarmersInsuranceOpen.com. Marty Gorsich, that's where you can buy tickets, by the way. Marty Gorsich joining us today. He is the tournament director out there at Farmers. Now, Marty, it's like every tournament along the way kind of has one of its calling cards. And, it's Pebble. It's always the challenge with the wind and how it's going to look. Torrey Pines is known as kind of the unofficial start for the PGA Tour season, and that's why you see a lot of guys who are coming out and playing, getting ready for some of the big money tournaments that are coming down the line. But Torrey is known for making it really tough on golfers and having some really low numbers as the final scored. Low in a bad way, not in a good way for golf. So this year, how's the course looking? How's the rough growing? Is everything getting ready to go for this thing?
Yeah, I was actually talking to the course superintendent yesterday and asked him about these rains and now this warm weather. And it's kind of perfect for him. And it's probably the worst thing for the players in some ways. You get those heavy rains. It's like Mother Nature's sprinkler. It spreads the water around. It also washes out a lot of that salt that gets in there from the salt air by the ocean and everything. And it really lets that grass pop. And then to water it down like that, get that kind of, wash going, and then to have the temperatures heat up, everything just pops. So the rough, which is always a story here, is going to really get a chance to get shaggy, grow aggressively, and it's going to punish you if you don't hit it straight. If you're hitting off the side, you are going to have to go first find it, and then if you can find it, hack your way out of it.
Man, last year I got to play just a couple weeks before the Farmers Insurance Open out there, and I think I lost 40 balls. It's just impossible once you're over there. Marty, man, we love it. We hope that you guys make it as hard as possible on these PGA Tour players, because the best thing in golf is when you see pros who look like amateurs. And that's kind of what Torrey Pines does to guys a lot of the time. Marty, thank you for your time today, man. Anything else you want to tell our listeners before we go?
Nope, you hit it. Go to FarmersInsuranceOpen.com for tickets. There's a price list at the end of the day Monday, so I jump on it soon, and a few areas have sold out. But all the other info you need there too: parking, ride share, food menus, anything else you want to know. Go check it out. We'd love to see you, Torrey.
All right. Well, thank you to you. Thank you to the Century Club, who is huge in making this thing happen. And congratulations on another year, Marty. Can't wait for it.
Yep. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you out there.
All right. Marty Gorsich joining us, the tournament director for the Farmers Insurance Open. He makes time to stop by every single year. We do appreciate it. FarmersInsuranceOpen.com to buy tickets, presented by Michelob Ultra. Like he said, there's a price hike coming on Monday. So if you want to buy tickets to get out there, to get the family out there for 4 days of what's going to be pretty incredible golf, they got some huge commits here over just the last couple of days. Harris English, who won it last year, is back this year. Matthew Pavon, who's playing really good golf, the 2024 Farmers Insurance Open champion. Max Homa, Southern California's boy.
Shout out to Marty as well. I thought when I asked him the question about food and drink, I thought when he said, "Oh, we're going to more morning crowd," I thought it was the next word that was gonna come out of his mouth was, "We're not doing alcohol this year." No,
dude,
we're
that was
doing
actually
morning cocktails.
So I want to say Marty took over as the director. It's less than 10 years ago, and one of his big commitments when he took over was, we need to get the booze flowing a little bit.
Yeah, the TPC Scottsdale, that's the whole thing. Everyone's wasted, and the 17th hole that everyone goes crazy at.
Now, San Diego's a little classier than Arizona,
Yeah,
I would say, but it is part of it. Like, if you go out there, the different cocktails they have, they'll bring in like expert mixologists to make some new drinks every single year. It's really cool. It's a foodie event as much as it is a golf event.
What was it you were saying before the segment, that you were going to buy a skybox and bring me and a bunch of listeners?
Yeah, I totally said that. I totally have like 60K laying around ready to.
No, I heard you talking about it. I want to make sure our listeners knew about it as well.
Yeah, that's the plan. You know what? And in fact, Sammy, why don't I also buy out like $300,000 skybox for TPC?
That'd be great as well.
And we could go all party on 16 and throw beer cans all over the place. I'm happy to do that. I'll foot the bill all day long. That's so easy.
I worked at an Arizona radio station in Phoenix. I can maybe squeeze some TPC tickets.
You know what's crazy is like Ornberger, because he played for the Cardinals, had skybox at 16 and didn't even appreciate it.
I went last year, or no, 2 years ago. We got denied. We were.
Oh, was that the year when they had all the issues with the payment situation?
Yeah,
and so people were getting in with fake tickets like crazy.
People were getting with fake tickets, but the problem was it rained in Scottsdale in February, which is how could they account for that? It rained on the Friday session, so they had to finish the Friday session on Saturday morning, but then none of the people left because they couldn't enforce technically people that had Friday tickets didn't have Saturday tickets.
Their entire system tanked.
I literally was like, my mom and I were 10 people away from getting in, and they stopped it. So it was crazy.
So my father-in-law is a beer guy. He sells beer. His biggest client every year is the Waste Management Open. And every single year going into it, he's like walking into that meeting saying, I wonder how much more they're going to buy this year.
Listen, if you haven't been out to the TBC Scottsdale Waste Management Open,
dude, it's bucket list.
That is the wildest scene. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I have ever seen. Like, it is.
I really, in my life, I have no interest in going to a Super Bowl. I really don't. Like, I've been there the week of the Super Bowl. It's too chaotic. You'd rather watch it on TV. I really don't care to go to a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Masters is my number one. That is the one thing. If I die before I go to Augusta to watch the Masters, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. TPC Scottsdale's not that far behind it.
It's
because
fun.
I just want a week with like 10 of my buddies. We go out there, just debauchery ensues because it feels like
it's coming up in a month.
Yeah, but I'm not financially ready for this. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, Sammy. We're going big if we're going to TPC Scottsdale. Same with Augusta. With Augusta, you have to freaking win a lottery to be able to purchase $1,000 tickets.
Yeah, the Masters is a little too exclusive. It'd be unreal, but that would be.
I got to get Pops out to the Masters, man.
That'd be cool.
He has the same bucket list I do when it comes to that. We got to make it happen at some point. If any way I could use my powers to get Keith Fletcher out to the Masters.
Big Keith.
I would be the best son ever. And finally, I'd be the favorite child for once.
You better be the favorite child if you're getting him Masters tickets.
That's what I'm saying. All right, that would be my lock for the rest of the life. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Final break here. We will close this thing out on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760. Wait, pause, time out. Sammy, what tickets do we need to give away? Which ones?
We have Wiz and MGK.
That's the extra tickets we have. They're playing May 17th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Wiz Khalifa, Machine Gun Kelly, bop, 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 bop. 877-767-4767. What caller number?
You know, we did 14 last time. We're going to do 17. The phones were off the hook. Give us caller 17 is going to the show.
For May 17th. Let's see what you did there. San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 for a final time today. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. I'll be back with you at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock tonight, getting you ready for San Diego State and Wyoming, a big one for the Aztecs tonight. All right, quickly rip through some of these texts at the end of the show. 760 says, how about some Farmers Ticks boys? That's from Indy Drew. Weird. Indy Drew, I was about to ask you the same thing. Can we get some Farmers tickets from you?
Ben's paying.
Well?
Remember, I just told you.
Yeah. Sure.
Ben's paying for everyone.
858. The Cowboys were winning Super Bowls all of my high school years. I'm 49 now, and unfortunately, Jerry Jones is going to outlive me. It does feel like that, doesn't it? I'm telling you, no Cowboys fan is going to want to hear this, but genuinely, I do kind of feel bad for Cowboys fans.
Yeah, because they have an incompetent owner.
The NFL is better when the Cowboys are good.
Oh, definitely.
Or terrible. Either way. But right now,
it's fun when they're good. It's fun when they're good.
Dak Prescott's a really good quarterback. The defense was abysmal, although better than I expected it to be. But it does feel like the Cowboys are just circling mediocrity every year.
To be fair to Jerry Jones, I think we look back at the Michael Parsons deal.
Good trade.
I think it's a good trade for them.
Now trade Dak Prescott. You probably need a year or two of suck.
Yeah, but Dak, I don't know. Dak showed me something this year. Like, let's not forget that the last 2 seasons that Dak was healthy in the MVP conversation.
No, Dak is really good. But are they winning a Super Bowl anytime in Dak's career? Highly doubtful.
If you got the defense right, that team could be interesting next year.
What, Dak's 32, 33 years old? Remember, he didn't start until he was a little bit older. And Dak's been around a long time.
I mean, I don't know. Then why did you pay CeeDee? Then why did you I put more of this on Cowboys ownership. Rico Dowdle leaves the building. He's a superstar in Carolina. You wait to trade Michael Parsons until after the draft.
No, I don't put any of the blame on Dak, but I'm saying if the Super Bowl window is clearly not open right now, is it going to be open?
I think
during
it could
the
be open next year.
I don't know, man. The NFC's getting better. The NFC's getting stronger.
But look at their own division. Philly, what's going to happen there?
Sure.
Are they falling apart? The
Giants
Rams,
on the rise.
How many years has Matthew Stafford got left? Like, there's going to be some openings. Yes, obviously your Seahawks, your Chicago, your Niners are still there. But
Commanders will be back better.
Better.
Giants are getting better every year for the next few years.
I feel like people are going to count Dallas out because they don't like Dallas, and Dallas could be an interesting team next year.
Well, Sammy said that about the Bears last year, and that worked out swimmingly for him somehow.
It's the Sammy Long guarantee.
All right, before we get out, Sammy, today against Wyoming, massive game for the Aztecs. The line moved at all, or is it still 1.5?
It's still 1.5. The point total has come down though a point or two.
Man. This is a big game for San Diego State. This is a big 3 games in a row for San Diego State. It does not get easier in Mountain West play. All right, we hear YouTube comment right before we get out. Rich McGuire says also Will Myers was playing all-star first base, and then the Padres went out and signed Eric Hosmer and never found his place after that.
Jim Russell's favorite person.
Eric Hosmer, man. It's weird because I would say it's a no-doubter that Eric Hosmer was the worst contract ever signed by the Padres. Xander Bogaerts about to be threatening that. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, San Diego Sports 760. We'll see you tomorrow. Tune back in while J-Riff is coming up next, and then tune back in at 4 o'clock. I got you for Aztecs pregames. Bye.